the U.S. will not send Tomahawk missiles to Ukraine. President Trump says there's too steep a learning curve to get people to know how to use them properly. Come on in, please. Markwayne Mullin. He is the Republican senator, and he's on the Armed Services Committee in the Senate, and that's from the great state of Oklahoma. Mr. Senator, are you okay with Ukraine not getting Tomahawk missiles and going with sanctions on Russian oil instead?
Well, look, Stu, President Trump is the commander-in-chief. We'll follow his lead on this. Tomahawks isn't the only delivering system we have, though. You know, in Fort Sill, where fires, if it's being shot from our military, most of the time they've been trained right there in Fort Sill, Oklahoma. So we have several different platforms, not just Tomahawks, that we can reach deep into Russia, and it's a lot less complex. So just because we're not sending Tomahawks doesn't mean we're not allowing Europe to purchase other delivery systems from us for Ukraine. So I support the president and what he's doing here and him trying to bring peace to the region. Obviously, the sanctions are huge, but keep in mind the sanctions is just one step to get Putin's attention. We have several other steps that we can take too that can even hit harder on sanctions, and one of them is the bill that obviously Lindsey Graham and myself have been working on for quite some time for sanctions that I know would pass Congress overnight. We just don't want to get ahead of the president. We want to follow his lead on foreign affairs because obviously he's doing a great job. He's already ended 8 wars, and we're hoping to make it 9 soon.
The Economist magazine has an interesting study of how Putin's done since he started not a new war, but a new movement in May of this year to get hold of more Ukrainian territory. Turns out he's had no success, almost no success at all, and at great cost in the number of soldiers killed. You could say that Putin is kind of stuck at this moment and will be susceptible to pressure.
Well, I don't know if the number of people killed in this war doesn't affect Russia at all. They've always fought wars by just throwing bodies at the solution. I mean, we can go back to any war they fought. The numbers, they just don't value life like we do in the United States. So we make the assumption that would matter to them. That doesn't. What does matter to him is his economy. The ruble is already starting to take a huge hit. When we start seeing the sanctions hit their 2 largest oil companies at the tune of 55% of their oil exports, that's going to get their attention. When we start looking at other exports and imports going into Russia, because when you start hitting those imports, it starts affecting the daily lives of everybody in Moscow right now. It's been kind of sheltered from the war. That will start getting Putin's attention too. Putin knows this, and what President Trump did is he signaled, hey, this is just one step. Pay attention. If you don't come to the table, we will force hardship on the people of Russia that's been sheltered from this war. But to say that the body count matters, it doesn't matter to Putin whatsoever.
Okay. The U.S. launched another strike on a drug boat. This was in the Eastern Pacific. The president says these attacks save lives. Watch the president.
Every one of those boats that gets knocked out is saving 25,000 American lives, not to mention the torn up families all over the country. And whenever I see that, I say to myself, I just saved 25,000 lives. I will say that there are very few boats traveling on the water right now. Actually, that includes fishing boats, that includes any other kind of boat. But there are very few boats traveling on the water. So now they'll come in by land to a lesser extent, and they will be hit on land also.
Well, Senator, sinking these boats has gone from the Caribbean. It's now in the Eastern Pacific. Is the Congress going to have any say in what happens in the future with these taking out these drug boats?
Well, these are terrorist organizations that the president has deemed rightfully so, not just international terrorists. A lot of people start thinking terrorists has just got to be the Houthis or Al-Qaeda or Hamas or Hezbollah. Or ISIS, but this is a terrorist organizations that are coming to our streets. We lost more people in 2024 to deaths by overdose than we did in the entire Vietnam War. It is affecting our families, it's affecting our streets, and by the president being proactive, instead of waiting until the drugs get to our shores, he's being proactive by cutting out the smuggling routes. This has got everybody's attention, especially these cartels and everybody that wants to get on these boats and drive them to the United States. He's absolutely right. Every boat he takes out is saving lives, and I support it completely.
Senator, a great pleasure to have you on the show on an important day. We appreciate it, and we'll see you again real soon.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you,
sir?
Stu.